Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
Okay, and we're starting and standing, and then we will eventually come down onto our mat. But if you like, right away, I'll challenge you to just have your weights and have them with you the whole entire time. So start by just grabbing your medium heavy. So I've got my 8-pounders today. Typically, I would maybe go 5 pounds, 8 pounds as like my light medium weight. So I've got my 8-pounder. So let yourself be challenged, whatever that means to you. And we're going to just start by walking forward and back at a little bit of a farmer's carry. So you're going to hold your weights off the side of your body, about 4 inches away from the side of your body. And then just start to walk yourself forward and back. And we are walking our entire practice today. So we're walking forward, walking back. Just take your time here. And then once you've got your walk pattern going. Now, I should say, if you have a larger space and you don't want to confine yourself entirely to the space of your mat, walk yourself a little bit further off of your mat space if that feels like the right way to go, because it's just a forward and back pattern. But you do want to make sure you get a little bit of both. So you want that forward, you want that back. Arms are being held away from the side of your body, and then just start to check in. How's your body feeling this morning? How do your feet feel? How do your knees feel? How does your back feel? As we increase our walking, your cardiovascular system might start to kick in. You might breathe a little bit heavier as we start to really pick up the pace. So you just start to notice, where do you hit that point where you need to open your mouth and breathe through your mouth in comparison to breathing in and out through your nose? Okay, now we're going to keep walking forward and back. But now we're going to add on. So when we come to the front end of our mat, we're going to do a little micro bend in the knees, roll down, touch your feet, roll your way back up, and then walk yourself backwards when you hit the back end of your mat. Roll your way down just a little bit, touch the ground, roll your way back up, but keep your weights with you if you can. Walk forward, roll down, roll back up, walk backwards, roll down. And don't worry about trying to get a bunch of these reps in. Think of the walking as the work. Everything else is just a little bit of a check-in. Can you keep your medium heavy weights with you the whole entire time? Five seconds left. We're going to keep walking forward and back. All right, that's time. So now we're going to switch. As you come to the front end of your mat, now we're going to add a side bend. So you're going to side bend to one side bend to the other side. But then this minute of walking, we're going to tippy toe walk. So you're going to lift up your heels, tippy toe walk to the back end of your mat, lower your heels, do a little side bend, tippy toe walk forward. At the top of your mat, do your little side bend. We've got 1 minute of work here. So tippy toe walk forward and back, side bend at the front and end of your mat. And it's not about how high your heels are lifted, but just about finding that little bit of variation in your walking pattern. So you can lift your heels, just micro lift. You can do just a little kitty heel, whatever gets you there, but just a slight lift in the heels, walk forward, walk back, add your side bends at the front and back end. Nice job. And then if at any point, as we add these little end games, front and end work, notice the things that are challenging. So if you get like a bent over row and you're like, ooh, with those medium weights, that's a little bit challenging. Or if you get into your deadlift and you've got your medium weights and that feels a little bit challenging, take the time to notice the places that you might want to start adding just a little bit more weight to your work. All right, that's time, but we're walking forward and back. So keep your walk going. And now as you come to the front end of your mat, now you're going to add a deadlift. So deadlift at the front and the back of your mat. So palms facing in, micro bend the knees, hip hinge, come back up. And now we're doing that regular walk again. So walking just with a flat foot or non-tippy toe walk, if you will. Little deadlift at the end of your mat and a deadlift at the front end of your mat. As we start to get our deadlifts in, how easily can you transition from a walking pattern, get yourself set up into your deadlift position with a nice fluid transition. So you walk yourself forward, feet about hip width distance apart, micro bend your knees, hip hinge, and then walk yourself back. And can you make it a nice fluid transition? Nice work. 15 seconds left with that deadlift at the front end and the back end of your mat. And time. Beautiful. Okay, now we're taking it forward and back, adding a little twist. So as you come to the front end of your mat, you're going to twist, look over your back shoulder, twist, look over your back shoulder, but you're going to keep your weights again in that farmer's carry. So about 4 inches away from the side of your body. Walk yourself forward, walk yourself back, do a little twist and look, do a little twist and look, and then walk yourself forward. And then how can you keep this in a nice smooth transition? So you twist, come right through center and walk yourself back. Yes, nice work. Ten seconds left. All right, now the next time you come to the front or back end of your mat, now we're switching over into a bent over row. So as you come to that front end of your mat or the back end of your mat, you're going to bend over with a hip hinge, scrape your elbows, a little bit of a deadlift to come up, and then walk yourself forward and back. Same thing. We want to find that nice fluid transition. So we don't stop moving. We keep it going, walk it forward, bend over, scrape your elbows, lower your arms, come right back up, and then walk yourself back. Yes, nice job. And now, especially with that bent over row, we're working into the back body a little bit, shoulders. So notice, does this heavier weight feel okay? Do you need to make micro adjustments? Should you switch to a lighter weight, or could you stick with your medium to heavy weights, get the work done knowing you're only doing a few reps forward and back? All right, now we're going to switch it up. So keep walking forward and back. And now we're taking it into a bicep curl at the front and end of our mat. So walk yourself forward, walk yourself back, give a nice full range bicep curl all the way up to the shoulders. And then we're still keeping that bit of a farmer's carry. So arms are going to be held away from the side of your body as you walk yourself forward and back. Nice work. Especially for some of these, if you choose to go like I'm bicep curling the whole way as I walk, we still want to maintain that good sense of center. So even if you decide to just bicep curl the whole entire time, keep your torso nice and stable, nice and steady. So you're not rocking all over the place as you do that walking forward and back, even if you opt to keep those bicep curls the whole way. 15 seconds left with our bicep curls at the front and back end of our mat. And time, nicely done. Okay, keep walking forward and back, but now we're switching to a squat at the front and back end of our mat. So walk yourself forward, load up at your shoulders, sink into a squat, rise up, walk yourself back, load up at your shoulders, sink into your squat, and then keep that going. So for our squat maneuver, we want the chest and chin to stay lifted, go butt back, bend your knees. How far down you go where you feel the strongest today. Go where you feel the most fluid, where you can transition from that squat right into your walking pattern. Nice job. You're already halfway there on that squat walk. 10 seconds left. All right, keeping that walking going, but now we're adding a calf raise. So walk yourself forward, walk yourself back at the front and back end of your mat. Do a nice calf raise. Heels lift, full range of motion, lower down, walk yourself forward. Keep that farmer's carry happening. So arms are being held about 4 inches away from the side of your body. If you feel like you want just that little bit more cardio happening, you're going to pick up the pace on your walking. So you're going to walk yourself forward and back at a slightly more rapid pace. But if you like a moderate pace, take your time with this. Allow yourself to walk forward. Find that nice smooth transition into the movement that you're doing. Walk yourself back. You got it. 12 seconds left with our calf raise. And time. Okay, now we're walking forward and back, but now we're going to take it into a front shoulder raise. So as you move forward and back at the front end of your mat, a little squeeze in your butt. Arms are going to lift up to shoulder height, and then you're walking yourself backwards. A little squeeze in your butt to keep the bottom half of the body nice and stable. Walk yourself forward. Use the challenging weight here. See if you could go for those medium weights to really find that little bit of challenge. You're not doing as many reps. So can you keep your belly firm? Can you keep a little squeeze on your butt? Nice job. And even though if you're going for those medium heavy weights for that little bit of challenge, try to make most of the work come from the shoulders and the upper body. So don't throw your hips forward with it. Get your arms to do the work for you. Even if that means you use your exhale for the effort. And time. Nice. Okay, stick with those weights. Keep walking forward and back. And now we're switching it into a side leg raise. So as you come to the front end of your mat, load up at your shoulders, lift one leg out to the side, lift the other leg out to the side, walk yourself back in your farmer's carry, load up at your shoulders, one leg out to the side, other leg out to the side. Nice. So we're using those side glutes and loading up at the shoulders just to give that little bit of a counterbalance. Five seconds left with those side leg raises. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now keep walking forward and back. And now we're taking it into a bent over fly. So as you come to the front end of your mat, you're going to give that little hip hinge bend over. Arms are going to open out wide to the side, lower with control, push into your feet to rise up, walk yourself backwards. Hip hinge, bend over, arms open wide, come back in. Try to stick with the challenging weight if you can. If this is a little bit, because bent over flies can be super challenging, if you need to switch to your lighter weights for this particular move, do what feels the strongest in your body. But if you can give yourself that challenge as you bend over, firm up your belly, arms pull out as wide as feels strong, lower with control, push into your feet to rise up. Nice job. And time. Beautiful. Okay, keep walking forward and back. Now we're going to make it nice big movement for this last minute of walking forward and back. So we're walking to the front end of our mat, bend down, touch the ground, overhead press, load up at the side of the body, walk yourself backwards, bend down, touch the ground, overhead press, stick with that challenging weight if you can. This is our last minute of walking. on our feet. So get as much reps in here as makes the most sense to you. But this is a big move. So if you're starting to feel like your heart rate's up, or now you're breathing through your mouth just a little bit, ask yourself what challenge you're in the mood for this morning. 'And time. Okay, now last minute of, I said the wrong thing. We are walking on our heels for this last minute of work. And at the front end of and back end of our mat, it's going to be a wrist curl. But if you want to wrist curl the whole entire time, feel free to do so. But we want to lift our toes and the balls of the feet. Walk on your heels. So if walking on your heels and the wrist curl feels like a little much, leave it off as you walk. Do your wrist curl at the end of your mat. Walk on your heels to the front end of your mat, slow it down a little bit here, lower your feet, do the wrist curl. Find the depth of work here that makes the most sense to you. Five seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, now we're going to come down into kind of a down dog situation for my yoga friends. It's going to be an elephant walk, similar to a bear walk. So it's going to be in a downward facing position, hands on the ground, find a little bit of an upside down V, and then you're going to start to walk it backwards and forwards, but at a nice slow and lumbering pace. So think about the way that elephants move. Walk yourself forward, walk yourself back. But if that feels like it creates anything funky happen in the wrist, go to just a regular crawl with your knees down. So feeling like that elephant walk is just a little bit much, take it down into a low crawl with the knees on the ground. You're still going to get that same work through the back of the body, through the shoulders, that little bit of a crisscross pattern in the spine. You've got it. So go to the depth of work that makes the most sense to you. 12 seconds left. And time. Beautiful. Okay, we're spinning it around, sitting onto our butts. So swing your legs around, sit down onto your butt, legs out in front of you nice and long. And this is where we're adding that booty walk. So legs are going to be out in front of us nice and long. You can load up at the chest, you can load up overhead, or you can let your hands assist you. So if you're still working on your booty crawl, your hands might help you find that work. But whatever level that you're working on this morning, we're just going to start walking one butt cheek back and then the other. Walk all the way to the back end of your mat and then walk yourself forward. Load up if it feels like a little challenge feels nice. Either just hold one single weight across your chest, maybe go for a little bent elbow waitress carry, or maybe a total up and overhead hold. Find the depth of work here that makes the most sense to you. We've got 1 minute on the clock, walking forward and back at your pace. This one does not need to be speedy, but it will start to help build up those QL muscles. So the muscles that kind of get a little bit cranky sometimes in the low back, we're just building up strength in those places. Nice job. 15 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, we're going to come down into a hip bridge position. They're going to be hip bridge walkouts. So we're going to come into our hip bridge. We're going to lift our hips, keep our hips lifted, step your feet out, step your feet in, lower your hips, bring them back up. Step your feet out, step them in. But how you choose to orient your arms is going to be totally up to you. So find your hip bridge position. For some of us, especially in the shoulders, as we're going to keep that lifted position, arms up in a Y. So pinky sides down, thumbs up. That might feel really good to some of our shoulders. So start there, see if that position feels good. Lift your hips up, step your feet out, step your feet in, lower your hips, lift them up, step them out, step them in, lower your hips. We're going to switch our lead foot at the 30-second mark. So start there, see how that feels. If that feels like not good in the shoulders or not quite enough challenge, then grab one single hand weight, hold it above your chest, lift up, stay in that lifted position, walk your feet out, walk your feet in, lower down, and then do the work with that little bit of extra challenge weight. But if the arms up in that Y position feels good to the shoulders, keep them there. How far you step your feet out, totally up to you. Go where it feels the most challenging, where you feel the backs of your thighs kick on just a little bit. All right, when you're ready, switch your lead foot. Other foot's going to start that step. Nice job. And time. Beautiful. Okay, lower your hips down. We're taking it into a dead bug. So whether or not you choose to go with weights, that'll be totally up to you. We have a round of dead bugs, then we'll do some crunches, and we're going to come back to our dead bugs with a slight different variation. So if you like for this one, load up your arms, keep your arms straight in front of your chest. Legs are going to go in that lifted extended position, like you're reaching up towards the sky. And now we're going to start to walk on the ceiling. So you're going to pedal your legs just a little bit, like you're trying to press your feet up towards the sky. First 20 seconds, legs are going to be up, just straight up at the ceiling. And then at the 20-second mark, I'll tell you to switch and you'll go to about a 45-degree angle. But see if you can just keep those arms loaded out straight in front of your chest. Walk your feet on the ceiling. All right, when you're ready, walk your legs out. They're about 45 degrees, like you're walking on the corner of your ceiling. All right, now when you're ready, walk it out about 60 degrees away from you, so like you're walking on the wall out in front of you. And time. Beautiful. Okay, put your weights off to the side if you're holding on to them. Now we're going to take it into our toe touch crunches. So legs are going to be straight up towards the ceiling, and we're just going to reach our fingertips up, give a little crunch, try to touch your toes. Don't worry if you can't touch your toes. We just want to contract the abdominal muscles and then relax them. So crunch up and reach and touch, or reach towards, and then release all the way back down. You know, I like that exhale as we crunch up and that inhale as we release, but breathe in any way that feels the most natural to you, preferably breathing in and out through your nose. And time. Nicely done. Okay, take a second to stretch out anything that you need to, but now we're coming back to that dead bug shape, and now we're going to alternate arms and legs. So bent knee position for the dead bug, arms straight in front of the chest, left leg, right arm are going to extend out and away from each other. Bring it back in with control. Left arm, right leg are going to extend out and away from each other. Bring it back in with control. And then if you get there and you're like, yeah, I definitely want a little bit more challenge for that one, grab your lighter medium hand weights, load up your hands, and then give yourself that little bit of challenge. We do want to try to maintain the limbs that aren't moving in a really nice, steady, stable position. So as you extend your opposite limbs out, keep the standing leg and the standing arm as stable as you can. And time. Nicely done. Okay, pull both knees into your chest, give a light little squeeze, and then we're just going to keep those knees together. Draw your knees in circles, circle in one direction. This is just to kind of massage out the low back a little bit. All right, draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Nice. Now we're going to crisscross our legs like we're crossing our legs in a chair. So take your right leg, cross it over your left leg like you're crossing your legs in a chair, but then you're going to re-grab the shins or the tops of your feet. So you're going to grab hold wherever feels the best to you. What we want to do is pull toes in opposite direction of each other. So we crisscross the legs, grab the shins, pull the toes a little further away from each other, and then pull your knees in towards your heart or towards your chest. But it doesn't need to be extreme. What you'll feel, hopefully, is a little stretch in your butt muscles. So crisscross your legs, grab your shins, pull the legs just in towards the point where you feel maybe a little stretch in the side of your butt, and then pause there for a moment and breathe nice and slow. Take one more breath. All right, now we're going to switch the cross in our legs. So unwind your legs, and then the other leg is going to come across like you're crossing your legs in a chair. Grab your shins or the tops of the feet. That's just whatever handhold works better for you. Pull the toes away from each other as you pull the knees towards your chest. You want to feel a little stretch in the side of your butt or deep into your glute, just depending on where you feel sensation in your butt muscles, but that's where we're shooting for. So my left leg is on top. I'm looking for sensation in my left glute or my left butt. Nice, slow, deep breaths here if you can stand it. All right, take one more breath, and then we're going to release our legs nice and wide, and then take them into some big, generous windshield wipers. Just shift your knees from side to side, soothe your hips, soothe your low back, make sure everything feels good. Great. One more little shift of those knees side to side. And then we're going to come up into a seated position, into a little bit of a seated figure four, but get your seated figure four. So one leg across, just resting on top of the thigh, but the opposite hand is going to interlace. So you're going to interlace your fingers between your toes and give yourself a second to get there. Because sometimes just interlacing the fingers between the toes, sometimes your foot will be like, woo, that's a lot of sensation. So take your time, get your fingers between your toes, and then give your foot a second to relax. Once you feel like your foot is kind of chilled out, you're going to just use your hand to manipulate, and you're just going to twist and turn your foot just a little bit. So let it rest comfortably. Twist and turn the top of the foot. Make sure your toes feel good. And this is a nice maneuver. Don't go anywhere where it feels like pain. All right, one more little twist and turn of that foot, and then keep your foot, unlace your fingers, keep your foot a little bit solid, and we're gonna take the heel of the hand and give 10 good strikes to the center of our foot. So think about where the center of the arch of your foot is. Use the heel of your hand and give about 10 good solid strikes to the bottom of the foot. And then once you've done about 10 good solid strikes, use your fingertips on top of the toes and gently pull the toes down into a light little stretch. So you want to feel a stretch in the top of the ankle, top of the foot. Take a breath. All right, now before we release this leg from a figure four, you're just going to lean back just enough that you can slide your other leg in and then push into your arms, lift up into that figure four just as deep as feels good. That'll look different on everybody, but pause there, take a breath. And then when you're ready, soften, release, and then we're going to switch to the other side. So you're going to bring your leg across into your figure four. Other hand is going to lace between the toes. So get your fingers in between your toes and then give that a second. Give it the time it needs so that the foot feels good about the work that you're doing there. Once you feel like your foot has chilled out, then you're going to take the top of the foot and just do a little twist and turn. All right, one more little twist and turn of the foot and then unlace your fingers. And now we're going to take the heel of the hand to the center of the foot. So where the arch is, middle of the arch, heel of the hand, give about 10 good solid strikes, but keep your foot solid. So we want to pull the toes back slightly. We want to feel like we're really knocking into that muscle that runs along the bottom of the foot, actually deep fascia. So just strike it about 10 times. And once you've given those 10 good strikes, then take it into your figure four stretch. So you'll lean back just enough that you can slide your leg in, push into your palms, lift your heart up, and then just take a moment here to take a breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, soften your elbows, release everything out, give your knees a little wiggle, give your toes a little wiggle, make sure everything feels good. You guys are amazing. Grab your Pilates ball if you're sticking around.